Well, welcome BCOT247 students. This is Mr.D and this is Business Communications here at Cerritos College. This is a quick welcome video just to introduce myself and just to go over how to log into the class, how to navigate around Canvas, as well as how to get started. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and here I am. Welcome everybody. My name is Eric Doucette. I've been teaching at Cerritos College since 2019, I think, or 18. I got hired there full-time. I worked there a year full-time, and then I ended up back out in the Inland Empire at another college. But I'm still teaching at Cerritos, and I'm very grateful. I love all the faculty and staff there, and I'm very honored to be a part of this course. And I've been teaching this course now for the last few years exclusively. I think this semester they may have delved it out to a few other faculty as well, but I'm teaching multiple courses, and this is probably the one I'm most familiar with, but glad to have you in my class. First thing I want to do is just show you how to get to our class if you've never logged into Canvas before. It's very important. That's where you need to go. That's where our class is hosted. So if you're watching this video as a result of an email, you're going to need to follow these steps, but you should be able to go to the homepage, cerritos.edu, and then select quick links, and right here the second one down is Canvas, so go ahead and select that, and then it's going to ask you to log in. Right there in the little box at the top it says student login. You're going to use your student login help. There's a basic, if you need some help you can do that, but basically you're going to sign in for the first time. You're going to use your password is going to be your 8-digit date of birth, so the 2 days of your month, the 2 days of the day, and then the 4 numbers that make up the year, and then you're going to use your email address as your login. So email address and then that. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed with mine. Mine's already all set up, and yours will be as well. Once you've logged in once, you can save it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's going to do a 2-factor test. So I've done that, and now I'm going to come to my what's called my dashboard in Canvas, and this is where all the classes I'm taking will be hosted. And I'm teaching in my case, so I have a few classes here that I'm teaching, but I'm gonna go ahead and select our class. Now in your dashboard, the only BCOT247 will be whatever class you're in. That's the one you'll see. You won't have multiple BCOT247s like I do. So go ahead and select yours in your dashboard, and that's gonna bring you to our homepage in Canvas. Now I set this up to where hopefully it's very easy to navigate and get around and find your way and be able to get started working. So if you look here, there's a couple of announcements at the top of the page that kind of tells you what's coming up. And then I have a Start Here button. So for those of you who are logging into the class for the first time, you might want to just click the Start Here button, and we'll go over that in just a second, but it'll show you what steps you need to take excuse me, to get started. But before we do, I'm just going to show you the other items that are here on the home page. There is a syllabus button right here. So if you ever need to view the syllabus online, you ever need to download it, you ever want to know what the latest is, I always keep the latest version of the syllabus right here. I did email you one before the class started, but it could have made some changes to it. So just know that the most recent will always be here, right here under the syllabus button. So if you select that, it'll give you the option of opening it. It'll actually open it, and it'll give you the option of downloading if you want to do that. Right next to that are the 3 modules that this class is broken into, and if you notice, there's dates below that. So based off of those dates, that's how long each module is. So the first module in this case runs about 6 weeks, and so you have 6 weeks to complete all the work in module number 1. Module number 1 will end with a exam. So there's 3 exams in the class. One for each of the modules. You'll also be doing a discussion post that will last the entire module. So you'll start week 1 or week 2, and then you'll have to complete that by the end of module number 1. And then there's also going to be a individual presentation assignment that you're going to be doing as a video. You're going to be recording yourself, and I give you instructions on that, but I'll show you that in a minute. But that's also something that you have to have completed by the end of module number 1. So that's how the class is broken, and then the middle of the class, or a third of the way through the class, we'll start module 2, and then you'll have about 5 or 6 weeks to complete those as well. So that's the top row here, and by the way, you can click any of these red circles, and that'll bring you to that module. But on the bottom row here, we have a Cengage link. So this is the Cengage link to our textbook. Now this class there's no work to do online or in Cengage, but there is a textbook in Cengage. So when you click that link, it'll open up another window. If you click the link in that window, it'll bring you to a class in Cengage where you can read the book. And so I'll show you how to do that because it might look a little different than maybe other classes that you've done. There is no work to do, however, it's just so that you can read the book. That's the whole purpose. So I'll come back to that. There's some course videos here. There's some videos in there of me teaching this class online a few years ago, and you're welcome to watch any of those videos. Also, the welcome video is in here. And then I also do a video on the individual presentation assignment, which is the one I talked about a minute ago, where you're going to be recording a video of yourself. I also have a Zoom session in there on business writing, which will be the majority of the second module. And then I also have a video on there on the final assignment, which is a mock interview. And you're going to be doing in the third module an actual mock interview with other students in your section of the class. So, and I'll be talking more about that as we get a little closer, but there's an explanation for that as well. And so you'll be picking a time and date in which you can be involved in an interview. You can either choose to be interviewed or be an interviewer. And we'll go over all that as we get closer to it. So that's the videos. And then right next to that is my office hours, which I do not have any office hours this semester at Cerritos College, but I do have my contact information in there. And if you do need to set up a Zoom session with me, you can contact me and we can set something up. And there's a link in that page that we can use to meet together in Zoom. And then to the right of that, kind of behind my face on the screen, is a help button. And the help button gives you my contact information again. It also gives you the help desk at Cerritos College. So if you need to call somebody and ask technical questions, or you want to send an email, or if you want to contact Canvas, their information is also under the help button. I think there's even a forum there if you want to ask a question. I can answer it, other students can answer it. So that's a slow-paced answer if you put something in there, but it's shows you how to contact me or get help wherever you need to. So that's pretty much how the page is laid out. There is a home button up here at the very top, so if you ever get lost somewhere in the course, you should be able to see this menu here on the left and just click home, and that'll bring you back to this screen, kind of the start page. There's also, if you're using a phone or tablet, up in the top right-hand corner, I'll show you in a minute, there's a little arrow that looks like points up or down. If you select that, it'll pop up this menu on the left on your phone or tablet, but you won't necessarily see that on your phone or tablet unless you click that. And I'll show you that here in a second because that's described under the Start Here button. So let's just say you're coming into the class for the first time, you're ready to get started, go ahead and click Start Here. And that's going to open up a welcome page. And so on that page, there's a welcome video from me, which you're already watching. If you want to watch it again, there it is. There's also just an introduction of myself and the class. There's a little bio link if you want to read a little bit about my background. I have a lot of background in ministry and church, things like that. And then there is a explanation of the course and why it's so important to learn what you're going to learn. A description of how this is an online class. There's also a link to the book right here. So if you've still not registered for the book, you can do that right here. You can do it on the home page where I already showed you. Here's the navigating the class. So again, there's a little arrow. This is a tablet or a phone. So if you click the little down arrow next to the sunglasses, that's on the screen for your phone or tablet, it'll open up that same menu. So then you can click home if you need to. And then there's a getting started section here. So the first thing I want you to do, of course, is read the syllabus, review the syllabus, make sure you understand what's required of the course. Then there is a welcome video. Again, if you need to watch it, there it is again. There's an SLO pretest in this class. So the SLO pretest is basically that you can take that asks you some questions on business communications, and that allows you to kind of see where you're at right now with your knowledge of business communications. And then you'll be taking the same one again at the end of the semester, and that's going to be allow me to kind of compare what you've learned over the course of the next over the course of this course. And so you can do the SLO pretest, and then there's also, again, another link to register for the textbook if you need to. And then finally, once you've done all those things, you can go ahead and click Module 1 and get started. I still had a date in there from last year, so I went ahead and changed that. So anyway, that's that. And so once you get started on the coursework, it's going to take you to Module 1, and we'll go there in just a second. I do want to note that there is a schedule here of each week, what you should be working on. And so if you want to also look at that, you can do that. It's the same thing that's at the last couple pages of your syllabus. So I'm gonna go ahead and head back to the home page, and I'm gonna go ahead and select Module 1 as if we were gonna be getting started. And I'm gonna explain to you what's under modules. So modules is basically all the modules for the class in chronological order. There is a term assignments up here at the top. I don't know why I call it term assignments. It's basically just some helps. So you have an introduction to Canvas. If you've never used Canvas before, you might want to utilize those tools and resources. That should bring you to some videos that you can watch or other websites where you can get an idea of how to operate and navigate Canvas. Again, there's my bio. And then another link to the textbook. If you want to do it from here, you can click that. It'll allow you to get to the textbook, which I'll do before we end the video. And then you get into module number 1. So here's module number 1, week 1, and the dates. So you have an introductory mandatory check-in assignment. This is really just introducing yourself to the rest of the class and answering some questions. And then you, if you want to, you can welcome other students, and I will be welcoming you. There's the SLO pretest I just talked about. Now, why do I call it SLO? SLO stands for Student Learning Outcomes. So it's just my way of kind of making sure when I assess what you know already and then I assess what you learn at the end, I can see whether or not you've learned those outcomes or achieved those outcomes. I give you a PowerPoint for Chapter 1 because you do need to read Chapter 1 in week 1. And then I give you a homework assignment for week number 1, which is basically a worksheet called the Communication Process and the Medium Channel form. And so you need to complete those. By the way, if you view PowerPoint number 1, all the answers are in that PowerPoint. So if you watch that and complete the homework assignment at the same time, you'll be able to complete both of them. And then you have your quiz on Chapter 1. That's all due in week number 1, the first Sunday night of the class, of the end of the first week. So make sure you do all those things. And then as you move into week number 2, we're gonna have a Zoom session and a few other things. We have a new thing called a check-in assignment. But good news is I'll be doing a video every week, so I'll step you through the next few assignments and what you need to learn, what you need to do that week as we move through those assignments. Because as I mentioned to you, there is a individual presentation assignment that's still down here, completing individual presentation assignment. I'll have it say starting individual presentation, and you'll see that up here in week number 2. And we'll go over that a little bit next week. So that's just getting you started. So make sure you check in by doing the mandatory check-in assignment. Make sure you register for the book, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Make sure you do your quiz for Chapter 1 and that you do the homework assignment for Chapter 1. And the best way to do that is to go through PowerPoint Chapter 1. So let's go ahead and go to the textbook then, just so I can show you that it's going to look a little different than maybe other classes that you've done. So I went ahead and selected the link to the textbook, and now I'm going to select the link again. And it should bring me to Cengage, which it looks like it's doing. And then it's going to show you kind of a home page in Cengage that you will need to access the textbook from. So actually that is, well, okay, so there's the textbook. I think it might look a little different than that. So I'm going to go back for a second. I think that link I didn't update yet, so it will be updated by the time you select it. So I'm instead going to come to the front page here, select the Cengage link, and then I'm going to select it here. I think it's going to look a little different, so that's why I'm checking it. And that should open the textbook. So here we go. And it's going to look a little different. It's going to look like a course, but there's not going to be any assignments for you to do. It didn't. So, okay, I guess we're okay here. That's what it's going to look like. So, so now you can read the book. I think the cool part is whenever you read the book, it leaves off where you left off. So when I leave here and I come back, it's going to be right where I left off. So that's kind of nice. But you can read the textbook. So here's Chapter 1. You can just start scrolling to the bottom here, click Next. And then you can read the textbook, click Next down here at the bottom right, and just work your way through the textbook, reading the sections that you need to read, answering the questions of the check-in assignment. Next week, you'll be doing that. So this one gets into a lot of preliminary stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and click Unit 1 to start with and get right into Chapter 1. So anyway, that's how you read the textbook. And then when you want to do the coursework, just go ahead and navigate back to Canvas and go to the home page, and then you can start doing the coursework by going into module number 1. All right, hopefully that helps. If you have any questions or confusion over that, make sure you reach out to me. If for some reason your book looks different than what I just showed you, what it'll show, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it'll show a list of assignments on the left-hand side, and then it'll show the book in a list on the right-hand side. There'll be some little icons, and one of those icons is the book, and you might have to select that icon and then it will open the book. But they may have fixed it on Cengage's end, because I didn't want it to do that. I wanted to just go to the textbook, and it looks like it is. So if yours is different, just know it's the little icon of the book that you have to select, and that will allow you to open the book. So, all right, so that's it for week number 1. Welcome video. Again, welcome to my class. I'm excited to have you. I will be doing a video every week, so I'll be going over any assignments that you need to be working on. Maybe I'll give you a recap of the week before. If there's anything that I think is important that you need to know right then, I'll add it to the video. And but have a great first week, everybody, and I look forward to